Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shania. So today we're in a little bit of a different location just because I wanted to mix things up a little bit, and since we're doing a May TBR, I might as well just film it in front of my TBR shelves. So these are my TBR shelves for you guys. But anyways, like I said, we're doing a May TBR this month because last month I did a TBR in honor of my BTS inspired readathon that I co-hosted with Brooke Clark, and it was really successful actually. I didn't get to all the books I wanted, but I still read quite a few on that list. So I thought I might as well just do one again this month. But also, I'm going to be participating in the Asian Readathon, which is hosted by Read with Cindy in honor of Asian Heritage Month. And so I thought I would show you guys all the books that I plan on reading for that readathon, and then some other books that I also want to read in the month of May. So with that, let's just get into all the books that I plan on reading. Okay, so with the Asian Readathon, Cindy came up with 5 different prompts to match books to, but in addition to that, there is like a little mini challenge which basically challenges you to read books by different authors with different Asian ethnicities. So really you just don't want to read books that are all by Japanese authors or all Korean authors. It's just a challenge to broaden your horizons a little bit and read from different ethnicities. Okay, so the very first reading prompt is to read a book by an Asian author. So very straightforward there and easy, and the book that I want to pair with this one is Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. So Haruki Murakami is a Japanese author and very highly esteemed. Like everybody absolutely loves his books, and I have yet to get to Norwegian Wood. It's been on my shelf forever, so I'm really happy that I'm finally going to be getting to it. So this book is a coming of age story that takes place in Tokyo, Japan, and I believe it takes place during the 1960s, and it focuses on 2 young people who have suffered from their best friend dying. And in the story, I believe that we get to see the 2 lean on one another, and it's a romance, I believe, that blooms between the 2 of them. But like I said, I've heard so many good things about this book and just about Haruki Murakami in general. He's just been such a well-known author, and I just cannot believe that I haven't gotten to one of his books before. So definitely excited to be getting to this one in May. Something else that I want to mention in regards to the Asian Readathon is that if you guys are wanting to participate yourself and you're struggling on what books you think will match the prompts, or if you're trying to find books that are written by Asian authors, Cindy made a Google document that I'll have linked down below for you guys, and it just has a bunch of amazing Asian authors on there and all of their books. So if you guys are struggling to find a certain book or an author, I would definitely check out that list. Alright, so the second prompt is to read a book featuring an Asian character or written by an Asian author that you can relate to. So for this one, I decided to choose, oh my gosh, Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Are you guys tired of seeing this on my TBR list yet? Because I sure as hell am. I have said that I'm going to read this book every single month so many times on my channel.
I can't wait to read this. It'll probably be in November like all the other ones. I'm going to read The Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo.
This is the book that I'm going to try and read this month. But anyways, I am putting it on my TBR yet again this month, and I think it's going to be a little bit more successful this month because I also just bought the audiobook. So now we literally have no excuse but to read it. If you guys didn't know, Leigh Bardugo is an Israeli author, so she does qualify for this readathon if you guys were wondering. But I decided to choose this book for this particular prompt because Leigh Bardugo is a woman, and I am also a woman, so I can relate to her on that. But more so, I have a fascination with learning about cults, and this book deals with cults. But more so, we have our main character, Alex, who is involved in cult-like activities. So I think I can relate to her on that. She might have a fascination. I don't really know because we haven't read it yet. But regardless, I think that this book works for this prompt just fine, and I just gotta read this damn book because if I don't, I will never mention it on my channel ever again. If you guys were wondering what this book is about, I have explained it so many times and I still don't know if I can explain it correctly, but here we go. This is about a girl who is the sole survivor of an unsolved multiple homicide, and after that occurs and her life is basically turned upside down after the homicide, she gets offered by Yale a full ride scholarship. So she goes to Yale seeking out answers for why she got this scholarship, and while she's there, she becomes involved in this like secret society, or she learns about these secret societies at Yale that deal with like cult-like activities, and they try to raise the dead. So that is basically what this book is about. It is a thriller. I've heard so many good things about it, and yes, we will read it this month. I swear to God, we will read it this month. Okay, so on the flip side, we have prompt 3, which is to read a book featuring an Asian character or written by an Asian author who is different from you. So for this one, I decided to choose The Night Tiger by Yangzi Chu. So Yangzi Chu is a Malaysian author, and the reason I decided to pair this one with this prompt is because one, she is Malaysian, I am not Malaysian, but more so, we focus on one of the characters who is an 11-year-old boy, and his name is Ren, and he is a Chinese houseboy who serves a master that ends up dying, and the master's death wish, or not really death wish, but his wish for when he died was to be reunited with his lost finger. Not sure what happens there, but it is basically Ren's job to find this finger and to bury his master with it. So he has this death master. He's 11. He's a boy. He's a Chinese houseboy. I don't know how we could not be more different. So that is why I decided to choose this book for that. But there's more to the story than just that. We also focus on another main character whose name is Ji Lin, and she is a dance hall girl. So she dances in order to make money to pay off her mother's debt, and one of her fellow dancers that she works with actually ends up getting a really gruesome souvenir, and it basically ends up making Ji Lin go on this big and dark adventure. And what I think is that souvenir is actually the dead master's finger, and that's how Ren and Ji Lin end up crossing paths with one another. So this book sounds right up my alley with that whole weird factor, so I cannot wait to get to this one. Alright, so the fourth prompt is to read a book recommended by an Asian. So I have a book that I've been really wanting to read for a while, and it does kind of work with this readathon, but it doesn't really work for this prompt. I tried as best as I could, but I decided that I wanted to read Anna K by Jenny Lee. So in regards to the prompt, I saw that Chloe from Books with Chloe is adding this to her TBR for the readathon. So even though she's not recommending it and she's going to be reading it, I thought it'd be fun to just read it along with her and then see what her thoughts are later. So I just decided to fit this in with the prompt because this is one that I've been really wanting to read. I'm still gonna go with it just because I really want to read this book in the month of May because I think it's gonna be a really great summer easy read. So I definitely am going to read this one. And if you guys didn't know, Jenny Lee, the author, is Korean. And a fun fact about Jenny that I literally just learned the other day is she is also a writer for TV shows, including Young and Hungry, which used to be one of my favorite shows. I absolutely love that show. It was with Emily Osment. So good. But I don't think it's going on anymore, or at least I haven't followed up. But I loved that show. And then she also writes for Disney and Disney shows sometimes. So that's kind of a cool little fun fact. But I definitely want to read this one. This, I've heard, is a retelling of Anna Karenina, and I have never read or heard of anything in regards to Anna Karenina, so I don't know what it's about, but I'm excited to see what this book is like, and I'm hoping that I will be inspired after reading this one to learn more about the actual story, and yeah, maybe I'll read Anna Karenina after reading this. So cannot wait to get to this one. And then the last prompt for the Asian Readathon is actually a group read. So this is going to be for the book Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. So this last prompt is optional, but I do really want to read that book because I've heard so many great things about it, and I don't have a copy of it right now, but I'm hoping to get one in the mail very soon, and if not, I'll just read it on my Kindle. So this book has actually been adapted as a TV show on Hulu, so it just gives me more of a reason to read it because I want to read the book before seeing the show, of course. And there is going to be a read-along, like I said, a group read with this book, but there's also going to be a watch-along in regards to the TV show. So that's really exciting, and it just makes me really want to participate, so I cannot wait to read that one. So those are all the books that I plan on reading for the Asian Readathon, but as I mentioned earlier, there are a couple books that I want to add to my TBR that are in correlation to that readathon, and the very first one that I want to add to my TBR is Beach Read by Emily Henry. So this book is absolutely being hyped like crazy right now. Everybody is all obsessed about this book, and this book I believe comes out in the middle of May. So I want to read it in part because it is very hyped and it does sound very cute. But I'm also wanting to read it because Chandler Ainsley here on YouTube chose this book as the pick for her monthly book club. So it just gives me more reason to want to read this overall. So this book focuses on two authors who are very different in regards to their writing. We have one who writes literary fiction and we have one who writes romance, and they actually become neighbors, and they both are suffering from writer's block, and they come up with a deal in regards to curing their writer's block. So the deal is that they will write a book in the other's genre, and from that I've heard that a romance just blossoms between the two. It's kind of like an enemies to lovers situation, but I don't think it's like a severe enemies to lovers by any means, but it just deals with polar opposites coming together and helping one another out and falling in love. So cannot wait for this one, and yeah, that is going on the TBR. All right, and then the very last book that I'm adding to my TBR is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I am so incredibly late to the game on this one. I know, I recognize that fact, but that's why we're adding it onto the TBR. I will read it and I will be back on track for romance reads. I feel like I'm so sucky in regards to romance books. This book is a classic enemies to lovers, and I just like love that right then and there, but it deals with two executive assistants of co-CEOs who are big time rivals. They do not like one another at all, and then one day they get offered the same promotion. But of course, you know, with enemies to lovers, we eventually have the two realize that their feelings might be more than just hate. I cannot wait to redeem myself once more as a romance reader and finally finish this book. So this is the very last book that I have for my May TBR. Okay, so these are my stack of books that I will read this month. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be a really good one. We've got a lot of different types of books going on here. We've got a romance, we've got like a literary fiction, a thriller, I think this is historical, not sure, and then another like cutesy contemporary romance, and yeah, then another contemporary romance. I guess we're really not that diverse. Regardless, I think it's a good list, and I cannot wait to get started. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always, and if you guys haven't already, please subscribe. I would love it if you join the family. But other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!